Hello, Andres. Thanks for joining us on the Larpar Show, where we talk about what is money, what's coming, and how to protect your family. We're looking at all things macro, and today we have Andre Loja. He is the founder of the Free Madeira movement in Portugal, and they are organizing Bitcoin Atlantis in Madeira in Portugal in March, between the 1st and the 3rd of March 2024. And so welcome, Andre. And let's listen to your story, share your story, how you got into Bitcoin and what's been happening. So take it away.
Hello, thanks for having me. Well, my story. I don't even know where to start, but yeah, I've been into Bitcoin for a while. I'm a Bitcoiner. And as all the Bitcoiners, I guess at some point in my life, I wanted to get more deeply involved into the space. And I'm already a businessman in Madeira Island, Portugal. I have several businesses here. And, apart from integrating Bitcoin as payment in my businesses that I was already doing, I decided to get more deeply involved, and I started I'll try to summarize, but I decided to do a Bitcoin publishing company, so to translate the best books that were out there to Portuguese. And that's where I started developing my network inside the space with people, like Jeff Booth and Daniel Prince and some other authors. But I'm just a pleb in Madeira Island, nonetheless. But because of that relationship that I started to build, when the opportunity arose to speak with the president of Madeira about Bitcoin adoption here, he was enthusiastic about it, and it ended up with me bringing the president to the Miami conference last year, where he basically announced to the world that he would support the initiative. And this is a very short story, but I'm just comprising 2 years in 2 minutes. But
yeah, elaborate if you want. We have time. Our viewers would like to listen.
Yeah, and then we decided that week in Miami went very well. We talked with a bunch of well-renowned Bitcoiners like Jeff Booth again, Samson, Daniel. Michael Saylor received us in his villa for a very nice breakfast, and things started evolving. And we decided to establish Free Madeira as a non-profit for the adoption and the education of Bitcoin here in Madeira, which is an entity separated from government, but we have their support because overall the president sees Bitcoin as a new technology that will be how can I put it, that is unstoppable for the future. And so he wants the Madeira to be on the forefront and not, Madeira is a very touristic place, so the economy of Madeira relies on tourism basically. And the president, for a few years to this part, has already a plan to diversify the economy for technologies, and this is Bitcoin as part of that plan. Basically, I wouldn't say he's orange-pilled, but he understands that the new generations use it, and he knows for a fact that it's here to stay. So he wants to support it and make his effort for Madeira to be in the forefront of those use cases. Let's put it that way. And it's another factor to let's say invite human capital and businesses and people to flock over to Madeira and create businesses here and value to the overall region. So we welcome that support, and we started Free Madeira. We have a lot of plans for Free Madeira. Some are already underway. Bitcoin touches everything, so it goes from education to remittances. We're creating a Bitcoin business hub, coding academies, energy conversations to integrate mining on the renewable targets of Madeira, So there are many things going on. And at one point, I also decided to do a conference. So I pitched the idea to the advisory board, and we are very fortunate to have this amazing advisory board to Free Madeira. Again, people like Jeff Booth and Samson and Daniel and Knut and Troy Cross, Larry, Greg, Gigi, so many good people that are helping. And but because of that advisory board, other big names started confirming their presence as well, like Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey and Jack Mallers and so on. So at one point, I decided, yeah, this is not a small conference anymore, so let's go big, and let's put Madeira on the map of BTC conferences worldwide. And so we did, and we started creating this monster now of a conference. And I think we're gonna do a great week here in Madeira. You know, not only the main venue is we're doing the conference in a stadium, 3 days, 3 full days of conversations. We have a main stage, open source stage. We have a book area for authors with conversations as well, so a smaller stage. We have workshop areas, hardware areas, kids areas, art galleries, expo areas. So a lot of good things are happening in the main venue, and there's a bunch, and I mean a serious bunch of satellite events going all over the place, especially in the main capital, Funchal. So it's a full week of Bitcoin conversations, I guess, and parties and events, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah. I think it is going to be amazing. Yeah, and some of us from here in Ireland have already booked our tickets to go and our flights and our accommodation. I think at the moment there's about 20 people from Ireland going to the event. I came across it there. Well, actually, a friend of mine, somebody that's in our group, came across it, and he said, "Did you earlier on during this year? Did you see what's going on?" And then I went in and had a look, and I just put it out to our community as well. So we have a nice group coming. I'd say by February, March, we'll probably have a lot more coming. So
Nice.
that'll be amazing. Yeah, and
I
families
would.
are coming as well. That's the thing. Where some people are
It
bringing
helps
their wives and their kids. Well,
Yeah, it was always one of our goals since the beginning was to make it family friendly, and we are in it's an amazing island already for a vacation, so we are very well known for that. And we are very well connected to almost every other European country. Even the United States, we have direct flights to New York and Toronto in Canada, for example. So we decided from start to make it a whole week of festivities, let's put it this way, so people could enjoy a nice vacation in Madeira with an amazing conference in the middle. So.
Yeah. We're actually coming for a week as well. We're flying
Nice.
in on the Monday before it, and then flying out on the Monday after.
Nice.
Amazing.
If you're coming, why not enjoy Madeira as well, and travel around,
Yeah.
take some vacation days apart from the conference to drive around and get to know Madeira. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I think Monday to Thursday will be going around and having a look around, exploring Madeira, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the event.
Yes.
That's the plan.
There will also be many satellite events apart. What do I want to say? The conference is 1, 2, and 3, but there are many satellite events on other days as well.
Yeah.
So if you're coming earlier, for example, the first event is the golf tournament on the 27th. So
I seen that. Yeah,
I know
I don't play golf though, unfortunately. I'll come and watch, maybe.
But there's a lot of Irishmen that play golf, right?
It's
a very big sport there as well. So if you do have people that play golf, just do go to the satellite event page on the website. You'll see all the description for the whole Coiner event on the 27th, and apply. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put that in the group anyway. About that, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. I remember when we went last year, we went to Amsterdam, to the event in Amsterdam, and that was a real eye opener. It wasn't too big, like maybe like Miami, be massive.
Yeah.
And it was nice and like a boutique event. I think there was about 3,000 people, but we got to meet a lot of people in person as well. And I met Daniel Finns, Natalie, Greg Foss, loads of people over there.
Yeah,
So it's
it
amazing.
it was good. Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually like these smallish events, 2,000-3,000 people, better than the big ones. I remember when I brought the president to Miami, it was the biggest conference ever. There were more than 30,000 people. 30,000 people, it was way too big. It was good, but very, very big. We're aiming for 5,000. Let's see if we reach those numbers. Apparently, we're gonna do it. Which is great for us, which is already makes the biggest event ever held in Madeira with those numbers. And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And this is the first year, isn't it?
Yes, this is the
First year.
original event. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And can you tell me the connection, because it's called the event's called Bitcoin Atlantis. Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the connection with Madeira and Atlantis?
It was just a fun connection, honestly.
Okay.
Of course, we are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, right? So that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But we were also inspired by the Atlantis mythology. Especially there's this book by Francis Bacon, The New Atlantis. And the whole mythology is about this amazing island in the middle of the Atlantic that is populated by these enlightened people. And Bitcoin, we believe, follows the same path. So we like the connection, and that was just a fun name to put to the conference, basically.
Very good. And then regarding this growth in Madeira, with Bitcoin and maybe the adoption of Bitcoin, what's that looking like? Because you're still in Europe as well, and it can be a little bit more difficult, can't it? Because we're part of still Europe and the bigger picture, and Madeira probably gets a lot of support and help from the mainland, from Portugal.
Well, let's make it clear, we are not autonomous, we are not independent, we are part of the main Portuguese government and under the EU umbrella. So of course there's a lot of constraints, as you know. And we had a lot of that criticism when we started Free Madeira, when we announced the non-profit. Some people even asked us why we were doing this. It was a failed project because the EU is going to clamp on it and so on. I have a different view. Every jurisdiction has its own problems, its own trade-offs, its own advantages, I guess. We are the same, but what would we do? Not do anything? That doesn't sound like a good plan. So we are doing it anyway, and navigating with the circumstances that we have, and we'll do our best to increase the education anyway and the adoption anyway as much as we can.
Yeah. And I personally think there's going to be big changes in 2024. With everything that's happening, with everything that's coming as well, and the narrative as well in the media and the news. I think that's all going to change. We've seen the report that came out about how Bitcoin is good for the environment, good for ESG. Things are changing.
That things are changing a lot, and I think energy is the canary in the coal mine. That's going to change a lot of things. Although you still see some fighting at the same time, right? There's a bill apparently in EU Parliament to ban proof of work. At the same time that all these reports are now claiming that Bitcoin is the more ESG friendly asset that you can have. So and we'll have to see what happens. It's so contradictory. There's so many factions with similar position or opposite positions, I would say. Of course, in my view, one of the positions, it's very blindfolded by the FUD and by a lot of ignorance about the assets and the technology. But well, I think in due time, and even projects like ours and conferences like ours and many others will help, on the step to a different enlightenment, I guess, by the authorities. I don't know. Let's hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah. And to be honest, like a lot of people are still trying to protect the old way. as
Yes.
well, and they don't want a new way. They don't want a new so-called freedom for people. You know,
I guess
uh,
that always happens, right? History proves that the incumbents always protect their turf, right?
yeah,
And the monopolies always create moats around them so that. But hey, eventually, as someone said, I think it was Gigi even or someone, you cannot stop an idea whose time has come. Michael Sellers talks about that a lot of times, and also open source technologies usually end up winning in the end because they're open source. So
yeah,
nobody can, no state, no government, no one can really stop people from using it in the end. So I think it's just a matter of time.
yeah, definitely. And if you look at it, compare it to like say Microsoft and Linux, you know what I mean? They never killed Linux. Linux is still out there. People still use Linux, the
Yes.
software, the open source software. But the majority of people for use and easy use Microsoft on their computers and everything like that, just because it's more convenient and it's more easy to use.
Yes, but I think the same thing will happen to Bitcoin, honestly.
Yeah,
We are still at the very beginning. If we look at percentage-wise,
yeah,
we are still very few that
yeah,
use directly the open source technology. And for it to be mainstream, and now we're getting there, I think we're starting to see the tipping point of mainstream usage. Technology needed to evolve, UX needed to evolve, and a lot of Bitcoin companies are now working on that and getting now starting to get out there with real cool projects, much easier to use, much more user friendly. And in the end, maybe in a couple of years, people will use it anyway without even knowing what's behind it because it's just easier, more affordable, more straightforward, and that's how you win in the end.
yeah. No, definitely, yeah, definitely. And to be honest, when I'm talking to people initially about Bitcoin, I say to them, well, people are always, a lot of people are trying to understand how it works. And I say to people, well, how does the internet work? How
Exactly.
does your car engine work? Or Google? Or even this pen? I don't know how actually this
Exactly.
pen works, but I know it works. It survived the test of time, and that's why I buy it, because it works. Same as Bitcoin. You don't have to understand the real technology of it. You just need to get to understand about uh kind of what it is, the value of it, you know, what it's probably going to be in the future, and just start learning about it. It's all about
Exactly. You
education.
can, and you can say that about everything. Like the
Yeah,
computer we're using right now to do this Zoom call. One of the more complex things that I can imagine is how can you transform bits and bytes into this thing that we use nowadays for Zoom call, intercontinental Zoom calls. My brain doesn't comprehend it, but someone invented it and we're using it without even knowing how it works. So, but it does work, and in the end, it does facilitate our life every day. So,
yeah. Same as Bitcoin. It's going to
exactly.
be everywhere. It's going to take over everything. Yeah. I was watching a great interview there only yesterday. It came up a clip of it with Tom Draper, and I think they were on an interview, I think, Coin Bureau and Raoul Pal, and he was just explaining about, he was just making comparison between like Microsoft, how all these, that was the platform, how lots of different things were built on top of that platform. You know what I mean? Like the internet was a platform, and we have Google on top of it. We have Facebook, we have Zoom, we
Yes.
have everything on the main platform. And to me, the main platform is Bitcoin, and everything's going to be built on top of Bitcoin as layer twos, layer threes, maybe layer
Yes.
fours are coming. We can see Lightning now as a layer two for payments. There's so many things going to be
Yes.
coming. So many
But there's
things.
even a better comparison than Microsoft being layer one.
Or, or
Microsoft
the
is all,
internet being layer one.
yeah, well, not the internet actually. There's even below that the protocol TCP/IP. That's layer zero, and that's where everything is built on top of. And then the Facebooks and Googles of this world are already on layer fours and layer fives or whatever. Same thing's happening with Bitcoin, honestly. and we're still in the ground floor. We're working with the layer 0. Some things are already happening in layer 2 and layer 3, like Lightning and other projects. And, you know, in a few years, we'll be in layer 4 and layer 5, and layer 0 will be so abstract, deep, that people won't even realize that what they're, you know, what they're using on their daily lives is based on. But for the first time in history, it's well, not the first time in history, because TCP/IP is also a open source decentralized protocol that, you know, changed the world. And I think a new change happened in when Satoshi invented this new layer 0 for value exchange, and it's going to change. It's going to have the same or more impact in the world than TCP/IP adds in the end.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can see it. You know, a lot of other people can't. A lot of technical people can't. But I don't know. I come from an engineering background. Maybe that's a little bit different. But some of these developers and technical people, they just can't see it. But they will see it sooner than they think.
Yeah,
You know?
same thing, but same thing happened when these other technologies were presented in the past. You know, there was a lot of there was just a small number of people that could envision what was coming, and you know, it's hard to see the future. You know, again, most minds think in linear terms. They don't see the exponentiality of numbers and evolution. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to comprehend everything. So we have to be comprehensive of those people and just help them as much as we can. You know, guide them.
Yeah, and be patient as well. You
Yeah,
know, because
absolutely.
a lot of people are looking at the time and they want things to move faster. But I don't think we should be moving really, really fast, because when if it was moving faster, a lot of us probably would have missed it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that time is a good thing, and it does help us.
It's hard to put things in perspective. You know, we as humans, we look at time very differently than history, right? When we study history in the history books, and you know, I like to do this comparison, like you know, for example, the Industrial Revolution, right? We now look back in the history books and on the classrooms with the, you know, they teach the Industrial Revolution, something that was really fast in history and so on. But for people living at that moment, it still took, like, I don't know, decades to unfold, right? So it wasn't that fast for them. It looks fast on a very hindsight perspective from the future. But still, at the point in time, it wasn't fast. And Bitcoin is very, very young. You know, it was introduced 13 years ago, so it's nothing. There's a long way to go still.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, and I've seen myself as well from things that I've done, right? I think it's moving faster than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, and I've tested a few things myself with doing different things like investments and stuff. I switched them, yeah, and the growth of the Bitcoin, and the value and how it's going up is there's no comparison, you know. And even if we look at the likes of, say, the market cap, right? Just for example, right, the market cap of silver is about 1.3 trillion, right? And
Yeah.
silver is probably, it's older than gold, I think, so it's probably about 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it took 6,000 years for the market cap of value to get to 1.3 trillion. And here we are now, 15 years later, and the market cap now for Bitcoin is about 825 billion.
Yeah.
So
No, it's definitely going very fast.
yeah,
But again, our perspective is very skewed. Like even the other protocol, the most well known, you know, where all the internet is based on, TCP/IP and the World Wide Web that followed it. World Wide Web is already a layer 2 above TCP/IP, and but even if we just stick to the World Wide Web, I don't even remember what year it was invented. But since it was invented until the day we really started using, you know, all those Facebooks the way we do that, it was decades after that.
yeah.
So I think people don't remember that. People already, you know, people forget the time it took to get to those layer 4s and layer 5s. So yeah, Bitcoin is evolving very, very fast.
Definitely, yeah. And that being said as well, the change that's coming, I think, you know, Jeff Bezos wrote a very, very good book, didn't he? And in that book, he explains about the change that's coming. Yeah. I think it's from 2025 to 2035. He's looking at different data that he has. He thinks there's going to be 100 years of change in those 10 years.
Again, it's exponentiality. Our minds don't comprehend exponentiality. But if you look at let's say the last decades of history, right? When digitalization started really occurring in human life, since I'm 43 years old. I was born in 1980. I had my first mobile phone when I was, I don't know, 16 or 18 years old. And now we've got AI creating movies out of prompts online, right? So can you imagine what we're going to have in 10 years? Like the amount of evolution that we had on the last 5 is probably equivalent to the last to the 20 years before those 5. And so you can imagine what we'll have in the next 2.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is indeed exponential, and our mind are very difficult to wrap that concept. We even if we experience it and we know this happened in the last 3 decades, it's still very hard to imagine what will happen in the next 5 years. So yeah, so I don't know. I think we're living to a very interesting time in human history. We're living through it. This digitalization of the world is it's a crazy momentum in the history of human nature, and we're living through it, and nobody knows what's coming, but it's going to evolve really, really fast. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people need to be prepared for it. Yeah, especially with this AI that's been going to be released, machine learning, robotics. They have it already.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know. I
a
don't
lot of
know
it
if
is
we'll ever
ready.
be prepared for it, because again, it's so hard to envision what will come that I don't think any human in this earth is prepared for what's coming on the next 10, 20, or 20. But we definitely should embrace those or the paths on these new technologies, whatever they are, that most protect the people and their freedom and their sovereignty in the end, and then use it as best as we can, not as weapons, and then but for the good of the human race in the end. And I think Bitcoin is one of the best technologies for the good for the goodness of the human race in the end. Because money is the most important technology that humanity uses to to trade, to evolve, to keep peace. So Bitcoin is our best hope for a tranquil next decades, I guess.
Yeah. And that being said, okay, we touched there a little bit about money, right? What's your outlook on this? The CBDCs that they're talking
Oh.
about. No.
Well, I'm still hopeful that they won't come in the end, although I'm probably not right.
They're coming. They're coming
Yeah, but
faster than
there's
most
always
people think, I think, as well.
that hope that in the end they will just no, let's quit this because we already have Bitcoin. Why do we need
They can't control
CBDCs, right?
Bitcoin, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Bitcoin won't be defeated in the end. There's going to be a lot of people that will be, I think, lured by the incentives of the CBDCs, I guess. Many people are saying that they will introduce CBDCs with UBI, so people can adhere to it, right, and start using it. In the end, you're probably right. It's an inevitability that they're going to launch something like that. But again, in the long term, I think it's inevitable that they're going to lose as well, and that it's just going to be a temporary thing that won't fix anything to their behalf, honestly. And the majority of people will use Bitcoin as at least their reserve asset outside of the system. And in the end, with the evolution of layer 2s, layer 3s, and layer 4, when it really gets mainstream, they're dead in the water. I don't think there's even there's no possible competition to the open source aspect of Bitcoin, to the practicality, to the no wall. There's no fences around it. There's no. It's not. It's inevitable that it's gonna win.
Yeah. Well, I think for the ordinary individual, you know what I mean? For most people, you know, Bitcoin will be a better option, but will people have the time to actually be able to get it? You know what I mean? Because if they do implement these CBDCs like they're talking about from the top, like when the Bank of International Settlements, you know what I mean? I read a report there last year from the BIS about it, and they were they said that they're trying to implement that every single central bank in the world has a fully functional CBDC by the 1st of January 2025. So
Yeah,
it's gonna
but
be
that's the
interesting.
thing. Even if they do that, Bitcoin is already so advanced, and
Yeah,
it's advancing so fast, as we discussed before, that even if they launch it in 1 year and people start using it because they're gonna attach it with UBI and give free money to people, right? And on the other side, they'll see, that devaluing as well because it's
it will.
fiat
Yeah,
money anyway.
yeah, yeah,
And then they're going to start with the controls that CBDC allows, and they're going to start blocking some stuff and putting some speed limits on your money and just and all that stuff. And people are not stupid in the end, so if they see that in one side and then Bitcoin on the other, and a lot of people using Bitcoin on the other side and not being restricted by that bullshit. In the long term, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy path there, but in
yeah,
the long term, it's inevitable that the open source competition is going to win.
definitely. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I can see that as well. I can see that in the long term, but just my concern for people is how will they get on board from CBDC into Bitcoin? You know, there might be a blockage there that people can't
Yeah,
actually buy the Bitcoin. Then,
again, it's not going to be easy.
yeah,
And if they really want to fight it, they can. They can push this fight for a lot of years if they want to. They can, they can make it really hard. Again, I do believe in human spirit in the end, and people are resilient, and there's peer-to-peer, and there's many peer-to-peer. There's many other ways that you can onboard people. There's, in the end, as Bitcoiners say, in the end, you won't be able to buy your Bitcoin. You'll have to work for your Bitcoin. So I think that's also another way. Even if you're a poor person, you may decide at one point, no, I'm not going to sell my work anymore for CBDCs.
yeah,
Now I'm accepting Bitcoin for my work, and that's the way you get your
yeah,
Bitcoin. So
yeah, 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 yeah. True. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, big changes coming,
yeah, a
they
lot of it
say.
changes, but none of us can predict the future. There's so many things that can happen, and it's well, we'll be here to see how it unfolds.
It's going to be an amazing journey, isn't it? I think the
Abs-
next couple of years, definitely. You know, the
Absolutely.
next 3 to 5 years is just going to be wild. I think it's
Absolutely. And
going to be
I'll
so
be
fun.
here. I'll be hopefully here to see what it unfolds in the next decade or two, and especially very curious to see the world that my children will inherit. They already born into this digital world. They already have their savings in Bitcoin. And they're 9, 7, 6, the next 3 decades of their life until they're adults and working. It will be a totally different world, and hopefully, if things go well, to the best, to a better world, to a more fair world, and where people can cooperate and really put an end to this bullshit talk of in the last decades the governments love to talk about globalization and how the world would be better with globalization, but then they work the opposite with walled fences and restrictions, and it's getting worse by the day. So I think a tool like Bitcoin can really set things apart, and and stop all that bullshit basically.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely. It can really, really help. Um, definitely. And it will help. It will help people in the future. You know what I mean?
It will.
People
I
just don't
believe so as
realize
well.
it yet. We realize it, but we're just a little bit ahead of the game. but people will realize it when they start seeing what's actually happening and coming closer and closer, and the net starts getting more and more around them. You know,
Yeah, I truly believe that.
and that being said as well, they're talking now in America about banning self custody, and they're talking about Europe proof of work. But they banned it 3 times in China. They reversed it every time. This year, they put. I was reading an article from China that Bitcoin and digital assets are being put down as property or something like that, as property rights. So that's getting changed on the top level as well. You know.
In the end, they will have to realize that, you know, if you cannot fight it, might as well join them, right? That's also one of the game theories of Bitcoin. And they don't learn. And it's usually by ignorance or, you know, trying to defend their incumbency or something like that. But in the end, they have to, you know, put the white flag up, and, you know, it's impossible to defeat the open source monster that, you know, it's really good for the people in the end, and people learn, and eventually, again, on the long term, it's inevitable.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the conference. Yeah. Do you want to share your screen or anything like that to show us anything about some of the speakers? I've been seeing on Twitter a few speakers being announced.
I guess let me share.
Hang on, let me allow you there. We can. Perfect.
Well,
it'd be
I
good
don't
for
know.
our viewers to have a look at.
Let me
So.
go here. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Probably a bit confusing, but let me go here to. How do I change this here? So the conference is in the island of Madeira in 1, 2, and 3 of March. We have you can see the trailer on our website. We have a lot of good people confirmed already. You know, the big names like Michael Saylor, Jack Dorsey, Adam Back, Jack Mahler, Jeff Booth. You know, there's so many people confirmed already.
Stacy's coming as well now. I'm seeing, and Max.
Stacy, Daniel, Preston, Lynn, Max Kaiser, Samson, Knut, Obi, Troy, Pablo, NVK, Odlanot, Alex, Natalie, you know, myself, Larry, American Hodl, Danny, Eric, Case, and Max Hildebrand, John Vallis, Ben Perrin. there's too many, you know, and we have a lot more to announce. We have already over 120 confirmed speakers.
120 basis.
We have to announce, I don't know, 60 more, I guess, until the conference.
They better be on cue. If they better be stick to their time, half an hour, or they're getting chopped.
Yeah. And we have 3 tickets. Well, we actually just have 2. Layer 1 and Layer 2 are exactly the same tickets, but we have a very special price just for Madeira residents, because one of the goals was to, you know, bring the locals over and introduce them to Bitcoin and take this opportunity to orange pill them as much as you can. But you have the general admission ticket and the VIP ticket that gets a little bit more perks. There's a dinner, and the music festival is already included, and there's a VIP lounge and so on. And yeah, so this is the program of the main stage. We divided it into blocks, and each block has its own curator and its own keynote. As you can see, on day 1, we start with Intro to Bitcoin. It's curated by Preston Pish, and the keynote is by Jack Mallers. On the afternoon, we have Economies in Transition, curated by Daniel Prince, and the keynote by Michael Saylor. We have on day 2 Energy Abundance, curated by Troy Cross, and the keynote is by Daniel Batten. We have Global Opportunities in the afternoon, Alex Gladstein curating, and the keynote by Jack Dorsey. And on day 3, we have the Madeira block, which is curated by me, and the keynote is by the president himself, Miguel Albuquerque. And it ends with the Jeff Booth's block after transition, and he's going to do his own keynote. And of course, we don't have here we're still working on the open source stage programming, and the detailed programming on each block will be launched hopefully by the end of January. There's still a lot of work going on the programming side. But there's, you know, as I told you, 120 speakers confirmed between the main stage and the open source stage. There's also a book corner stage where we're going to have all the books and the authors, and also some talks between the authors and book presentations. There's going to be the art gallery that is curated by Fractal Encrypt. There's going to be the Ellen Bits and Maker Bits workshop area by Ben Ark. We're going to have a workshop area by BTC Sessions as well. We're going to have another workroom by My First Bitcoin and Looking Glass. We're going to have
My
the
first
kids
Bitcoin
area.
from El Salvador.
Sorry?
My first Bitcoin from El Salvador.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're going to have a satellite event also on the day before the conference, My First Bitcoin.
Okay,
Raspberry Blitz and Fulmo will have their own satellite event as well.
lovely.
This is the venue, so it's a stadium very near downtown Funchal. Beautiful place. And actually, we can see here also in this picture, we can see the location of the music festival. But let me show you here. If you press on the top of the page, if you press on satellite events, you'll already check some of the satellite events that we're going to have. So this is the Atlas Music Festival, for example. You can press and you'll see more information on the artists and on the venue itself of the music festival. And we're going to have, so the golf challenge, as I told you, you can also press and there's more information. It's a beautiful golf course in the mountains of Santo da Serra in Madeira. You can enroll right here on the page. This is going to happen on the 27th. There's a special meetup party on Nini Design Center on the port of Funchal. Beautiful place as well. It's going to be a party there for over 600 people. There's the Welcome to Bitcoin 100% in Portuguese for newbies, like a noob day before the conference, in a conference hall that was inaugurated recently in Madeira, beautiful place as well. There's Bitcoin Walk. There's also other walks and hikes that are not here yet that we're going to announce soon, like the half-finished Seaside Run, for example. And there's a walk between Pico de Ruivo and Pico Arriero, the two highest mountains of Madeira. There's the Mega Pleb dinner. It's a traditional mid-skewer dinner that will be held on Sunday, on the last day of the conference. And there are many satellite events that are still not here, but we'll have to announce them shortly. So do follow our socials on Twitter or X now.
And what's it called on Twitter?
Bitcoin Atlantis.
Okay,
and we also have Free Madeira org, which is the non-profit itself. And yeah, I think the best way also is to subscribe to the newsletter here on the website. If you go down, you can sign up to the newsletter here, and we send a regular newsletter with all the announcements that we did on the last few weeks, so you can be on top of the news. Actually, the tickets are going to increase price in 10 days on New Year's Eve. So if you still want the small discount, go ahead and buy tickets before the end of the year.
Yeah. Perfect. And maybe we might have a code for them that we can drop in the description. Prime Media that views the event. Maybe was there a discount code or something that you need to put into it or something like that?
Yes, we can. Did we issue a discount code for you?
No, not yet. No.
No, we can do it.
Yeah, we'll do it after this. We can talk about it anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll drop the link in the thing. People
Sure.
get a little bit more of a discount on that price as well.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, it looks like a great event. Looks like a week's event actually. People need to come for a week. Don't need to fly in early. That's it.
Yeah, it's a full week of events.
Yeah, brilliant. And then do the events, are the events on before the event, or are they a few after as well, after the Monday?
There's before and after.
Okay, before and after.
I would say it starts on the 27th, and I think we have events until the 5th. So 2 days after the conference.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, great, great, amazing. Looks like an amazing event. Very good, very good. So if anybody wants to get in touch with the event or have you got a YouTube channel or anything like that, or have got any links that you can
Yeah,
call
well,
out
we
there?
have our Free Madeira YouTube channel, but we have not been putting a lot there. I would say the last thing we put on the YouTube channel was the teaser for the event. Although the event is going to be live streamed, so we're going to use that YouTube channel for the live streams at the time of the event. But we are more active on X. That's the platform of choice, let's put it that way, where you can follow us at Bitcoin Atlantis, and you can reach out there or on email at info@bitcoinatlantis.com.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, okay. Well, Andre, thanks a lot for zooming in to Dublin in Ireland, and we can we'll get this up and ready, and we'll have it up probably by the beginning of next week. And you never know, we might jump on again for a quick chat before the event. Yeah,
My
give us
pleasure.
an
Thanks for
update
having me.
and telling our viewers and anybody that watches this about this amazing event. Yeah, and it's going to be great, great. People
Thank
should
you.
really
It's gonna
come and learn about Bitcoin, because since I started learning about it nearly 3 years ago now, it's changed my life,
Oh, absolutely.
you
And
know.
it's going to change everyone's life,
Yeah,
whether they want it or not.
definitely, definitely. True, very, very true. Very, very true. Okay,
Okay.
then. So you can say goodbye to everybody, and
Thank
we'll
you.
get people to watch this anyway, yeah? Okay.
Thank you for